I'm not 100% sold on this one. We could just see more standard top laners. Of course, Trundle has been an option for YoungBuck many times in the past. And yeah, first ban from Copenhagen Wolves is towards the mid lane, so they want to make sure Peke is not having this LeBlanc. And Lucian, of course, against Amazing, you have to ban away because he's so good on it.
Karma also being taken away, as you mentioned.
Good for Wolves.
Well, I mean, Unlimited to be happy that he's drawn a Karma ban. I'm not
course.
too sure whether it was worthy of it yet, but again, another mid lane ban, this time Nidalee taken away from Peke.
So they want to make sure that Fnatic cannot do their poke combo where they just do fairly well in the mid lane. They just want to farm on Peke, get out of the laning phase and just start landing the spears over and over. So they want to make sure this option is not available for Fnatic.
Final ban potentially Gragas for Wolves maybe. He did fantastic on that yesterday.
Gragas, we have of course KhaZix could be a ban if they want to stay to this mid lane. Elise has been a first pick for Cyanide so many times, could also be a possible ban. Otherwise I expect to see Fnatic early pick it.
Yeah, with Evelyn ban,
we'll
see what the Wolves go with. Will it be another mid laner? If it is, of course Elise will get first picked in there. What we're expecting so far. Wolves taking the time on this final ban. Bit of a discussion. You can see Amazing putting his hands up, not too sure which way to go. It was KhaZix.
So let's see now if cowTard decides to get an early Gragas in the first rotation over here for Copenhagen Wolves. With, of course, actually the Lulu. Let's see if sOAZ plays it, or maybe Peke have been practicing Lulu and can take it in the mid lane. That would surprise Copenhagen Wolves.
Yeah, sOAZ took it in the top lane, what, 2-3 weeks ago now. And we've already seen xAZ as well today with it in the top lane. It could be the mid laner, as you mentioned, but it does leave the likes of Annie open. Forgiven's got his choice of AD carries if he wants to go for it, but instead it's Amazing locking in that Elise.
So they want to make sure to get the Elise away from Cyanide. They don't seem to care about Gragas just yet. Of course, we have seen Copenhagen Wolves in the past also playing Yasuo. Potentially see cowTard taking it as the last pick here, but with Elise taken away from Cyanide, he has to fall back to Pantheon, of course, Wukong, and of course KhaZix was left open, so let's see Cyanide on this champion.
Yeah, KhaZix being locked in now, Lucian also being in there, which means Forgiven almost certainly will be going towards Caitlyn. But let's talk about this KhaZix chip pick. It hasn't gone that successful so far in the European LCS.
It's hard to play it correctly, at least if you want to try and copy the way the Koreans played it. It requires a lot of practice with it. You need to be very aggressive, of course, when it comes to finding 1v1 fights like we saw in Insect do. And then when it comes to team fights, you have to go a little bit damage and then you have to build towards some tankiness so you can get in the face of the enemy team and just delay the whole fight to make them turn around and try and hit you. And it's not been working too well for the Europeans yet, but let's see actually what Cyanide can do.
It's only a matter of time whether it works out. Of course, Insect we saw on this champion that suddenly made everyone play it again is actually a special case even in Korea, let alone in the worldwide scene. Renekton and Caitlyn were locked in though, so it's going to be YoungBuck on that Renekton in that top lane, and of course Caitlyn once again for Forgiven.
So very standard picks for Copenhagen Wolves. They have the very strong jungler for Amazing. They want to have this early game aggression so he can help the lanes out. We have seen him so many times carry the early game. Of course Renekton, YoungBuck, he wants to dominate the lane, and Caitlyn, Annie. Just very standard picks for Copenhagen Wolves, not showing anything yet.
Full lane bully, it seems, will be Lulu in that mid lane for Peke, which means Shyvana Renekton. What a surprise! We're going to have that in the top lane. And Morgana. This is a champion that actually YellOwStaR played very well at the Intel Extreme Masters and then decided to step away from it for a number of games, unknown reasons. Was banned away in one of the games as well.
And also he decided to play Syra instead, so he wanted either more poke in the lane
not convinced
phase.
by that one.
Well, it was a bit up and down for him, but the Morgana pick, of course, here against the Annie, it's hard to black shield the tippers because it's an instant stun coming down towards you, but if you can time it correctly, you will be able to make sure that Lucian, of course, won't be locked down or when a teamfight breaks out. Look at all the disengage here from Fnatic side, actually. You have Lulu, of course, you have Morgana of the black shield, you have the slow from KhaZix if you can land it onto them, and of course you have the dash for Lucian here, so a lot of disengage for Fnatic. They can really decide if they want to fight or not.
Interesting choice, of course. cowTard played a very good Kayle in the earlier weeks of the LCS. May well get locked in again. We saw Froggen going huge on it yesterday, and there is a potential. Up against the Lulu, though, I still feel Lulu's going to have the edge.
Yeah, Lulu is very, very strong lane bully. Against Kayle, of course, I will also give the slight edge to Lulu here, but there's definitely room for Kayle to make some plays early on and try and punish Lulu if she's too aggressive. And then again, the lineup from Copenhagen Wolves here, they really signal they want to make sure that the laning phase, they're going to win it. They can go out of the laning phase, get an early dragon, get some early objectives and try and shut down Fnatic. And the thing about the Fnatic combo here, they really lack some hard engage. They actually rely on the fact that Cyanide can jump into the face of the enemy, get the ultimate from Lulu, knock them up, you have this CC, followed up here by Shyvana. That's the whole combo for them if they want to start a fight.
Well, potential tank for Cyanide, and more importantly for Copenhagen Wolves, they've got a lot of burst damage.
A lot of burst damage, and of course with the Kayle ultimate you can put it onto whoever target Fnatic is focusing on and try and turn the fight around here. But in general, with this combo here from Copenhagen Wolves, you have early game power, of course in Caitlyn, Renekton. You have the late game power also in Caitlyn and then in the Kayle. So they just have a good all-around mix, and for them, it's just all about winning the laning phase, and then just by having this very standard combo, by having strong early game and also strong late game, they can actually just decide how they want to play the game.
Well, with the champions lined up and ready to go, let's check out the vote on LOLesports.com. It has you siding with Fnatic on this one by 82%. Big margin there for Fnatic.
They have been looking pretty good lately though. And also I like the fact that xPeke is now playing Lulu. It really gives another edge to Fnatic. Now you actually have to ban something like Lulu against them.
We'll see how this one works out. We are about to get in the game. It is the final game of Week 9 in the European LCS. It's been a fantastic week and a fantastic day. Aggressive games. We'll see whether this one transcends into another aggressive matchup. What are you going with?
This matchup? I like Fnatic's combo here, especially if they can survive early on and then get into the point where sOAZ can outscale YoungBuck and just start split pushing. And then you have this disengage with Lulu Morgana in the mid lane being so annoying to deal with.
And let's not forget, if the Copenhagen Wolves this one, it's going to put them in a tricky situation in the standings. Fnatic chasing hard, making sure. Of course, Fnatic used to be top of the table. They went 7-0. Great start to the season, but as has been proven, that #1 spot can be a curse. Here we go, though, ladies and gentlemen. We are about to get underway. Fnatic starting out as the blue team, and clearly the crowd favorites up against the Copenhagen Wolves as the red team.
So we actually see Unlimited on Annie here starting the Spell Thief's Edge. So he wants to have some early poke here. He wants to have some early damage. We've seen a lot of Thorn Shield. We've seen Ruby Crystal starts for Annie in the past to be a little bit more tanky. But he really wants to go in here with Forgiven and try and be very aggressive in the lane, just like we normally see from the Copenhagen Wolves bot lane.
And the standard shield and sword battle will begin in that top lane. sOAZ going early, getting a little poke on towards YoungBuck there, and does a little dance, makes a little noise. Staring into YoungBuck, it's just like, lies down. I got this, just chill.
Yeah, so again, it's a matchup we've seen so many times. If it's going to go by the books, Renekton should get a CS lead early on, have the advantage, and then later on in the game, sOAZ will start outscaling him, and that's where we need to see Fnatic wants to put a lot of effort on getting sOAZ some help early on. We can see Cyanide coming up top lane. We have to remember though with this KhaZix, and I actually like what YellOwStaR is doing here. This is the tactic we saw at IEM, where Insec he sneaked around people and he walked in behind and forced them to flash over the wall early. YellOwStaR tried the same, but he was also all alone.
Well, it was him that got caught out by it.
It was actually him, so that's why I like the fact he's doing it.
So he's like, I've seen this, I know what to do here. This didn't quite work out, didn't quite have the support either of the rest of his team. Nevertheless, nothing happens in the first 2 minutes of this game. It seems no late invades, no lane switching, just no nothing.
But the Copenhagen Wolves bot lane, they always do the same thing. They walk down the lane before the minions even spawn and just stand ready to instantly push their wave, because they want to get early advantage. They want to shove Fnatic down all the way to the turret. And of course with Annie, with Caitlyn, you have so good poke early on that if Fnatic is not playing careful, or at least letting Copenhagen Wolves get level 2, they can take a lot of poke.
Well, you see the 2 top buffs being taken. That means it's going to be the blue buff for Cyanide, who's taking a hell of a beating from that golem this time around. I think a crit hit came through there on towards him. Amazing will be taking that red buff as well. And nobody really got deep wards, as used to be the thing. They used to try and get that ward, try and get some vision of the junglers, but nobody really got close enough this time around. We do see the Dark Binding landing on Forgiven. That's just simply going to be a single basic attack, though, from YellOwStaR. Meanwhile, Unlimited, he continues doing the basic attacks and Rekkles, and every time they do land one of those shots, it's giving them gold.
Yeah, and this bot lane thing, just like we talked about beforehand a few seconds, or 20-30 seconds ago, it's what Copenhagen Wolves do every single time. Push up here, want to get early level 2. They got it here, a lot of poke to YellOwStaR.
Crowd cheering YellOwStaR every time he landed that Dark Binding. We're not expecting the burst back from Unlimited there, that's for sure. And great Piltover Peacemaker coming out of Forgiven as well. Cyanide getting that red buff. We see Amazing doing the same. We'll see whether they go aggressive from level 3 onwards.
Yeah, we have of course to remember with KhaZix, you normally want your level 6 before you really start taking these duels, because you want to involve your ultimate, so you have the 50% damage reduction with your stealth. So let's see if he actually decides to just farm the way here, because Elise is a very scary jungler to face check early on.
You say normally, Insane.
He normally waited
disagree
to level
with
6.
you.
He normally waited to level 6.
Level 3 was in the enemy jungle every single time. he was in Cyanide's face, and Cyanide sadly did not realize it. As it is, sOAZ in this top lane. Well, he's being pressured. No surprise there by YoungBuck, by Renekton. Being pushed against that tower, but you can see he's keeping that farm going. Look at Amazing though, coming around the backside of xPeke. xPeke, of course, has that shield, has that speed buff. Will he manage to get out of this one? Will he get killed by the Cocoon? He's so slow from cowTard there. The Cocoon does land, but he got on towards the tower.
And I like how Amazing is delaying his stun here, putting all the abilities onto xPeke. He wants to force an early flash and then land the Cocoon before xPeke got on the turret. But nice play here. Especially by Amazing, forcing early flash from xPeke, so he needs to be careful now.
Well, Rekkles really doesn't have a great deal of follow-up. YellOwStaR's catching that dive binding every time, but there's just nothing to blast through. Of course, the Piltover from Forgiven is following every single time. Unlimited man-cell stun.
We have to remember that Annie's doing more damage than Morgana in the fight, so in case Rekkles decides to dash in there for the damage, Annie's there to turn it around, and once the binding is gone from YellOwStaR and he's not level 6, he doesn't really give you anything other than a few auto attacks.
And that's about all he's getting right now. sOAZ doing a grand job at keeping up with YoungBuck here. He doesn't want to step too far away from that turret, but it does give the junglers some free time. It means they really don't need to focus on this top lane. YoungBuck taking a hell of a beating there, actually, from the minions and from sOAZ's burnout, continuing to rush on towards him. Cyanide's backed off, gone towards that Spirit Stone, along with the pink ward and normal ward. Expect to see Amazing maybe doing the same at the moment. He's looking for an invade on the Wraiths.
Oh, actually, maybe he wants to try another gank onto this mid lane here, because of course the flash is gone for xPeke. There was a ward just before, but it timed out, so he actually doesn't know he's there. He's in a good position, however, to just back off, and of course we need to remember he's having the Whimsy to speed himself up.
Yeah, he's also got a lot of mana, no pressure on him, but we see Amazing's coming around the backside of him. He has managed to get in there. Will he land that Cocoon? That's going to land. It will do. xPeke's going to go down. First blood, cowTard.
So the early aggression from Amazing really pays off now. YoungBuck face checking Cyanide.
Oh, Cyanide jumps on towards him. YoungBuck flashes. Cyanide flashes back for it. Gets the unseen threat proc and manages to burst him down.
So absolutely perfect for Cyanide, because YoungBuck, he runs straight into his face. There was no ward. Both junglers getting good early ganks, and now Rekkles taking a lot of damage.
Rekkles caught out. Is it going to be enough? The net shot does come through with the Ignite running, but they didn't have the damage. They haven't hit 6 yet either, so they haven't got that ultimate on Rekkles.
But look at all the damage here from Copenhagen Wolves. One stun landed from Annie, and they just follow up with everything. A lot of damage onto Rekkles, and he needs to be careful, because he will have to blow a summoner next time he gets caught.
A lot of damage onto that tower, let alone Rekkles. You can see it's being chunked down here by the Copenhagen Wolves bottom lane pair, and he's working well. Amazing coming round. He's unseen in towards that Tribush area. Oh, YellOwStaR and Rekkles are sticking around. They do not know he's there.
Cyanide is going towards the golems here, so he's not too far away in case something should happen here. But let's see if Copenhagen Wolves actually feels they can dive this one. He's actually going straight in here. He's expecting something.
Yeah, Cyanide was there. He saw it. YellOwStaR is going to put out that pull, but that tower will go down, and now they're going to come through. They got the stunner towards Rekkles. They try and push on through. Rekkles forced to get away from that one. Flash was used by Unlimited there and Rekkles.
Yeah, so Unlimited, he forced out the flash from Rekkles by just going straight for him for some more damage. Of course, the Ignite was not ready for Unlimited, but still, he forced a summon on Rekkles, and they got the bot turret here. So Copenhagen Wolves bot lane showing how strong they are, and Fnatic talked in the pre-game video about how good this bot lane is.
Oh, amazing. Of course, on Elise doing what you can do, using those little spiderlings to tank up that dragon, and Copenhagen Wolves reacting. 4 members on this dragon. They're going to take it with ease.
So very good play by Copenhagen Wolves early on. We had, of course, the gank from Amazing in the mid lane, making sure cowTard got some early advantage, got the first blood and kept up in farm. And then with this very strong bot lane and with seeing Cyanide up in the top lane for the kill on to YoungBuck, they knew they could just continue pushing on in bot. There was no chance of Cyanide being there.
So Blue Wolf going across the xPeke, well, that's the plan. We'll see whether it doesn't now. We've seen a few mistakes being made by some of these lanes, but xPeke will pick that one up, no problem there. This top lane pairing is going very well for sOAZ at the moment. He's only, what, 5 CS behind. Of course, YoungBuck did get caught out. The assist went to sOAZ as well, which means he's actually ahead in gold at the moment on YoungBuck.
Yeah, well, there was, of course, the dragon for Copenhagen Wolves actually giving the gold towards the YoungBuck here, so he should be ahead in gold. And he's doing a very good job, at least sOAZ side, to keep up in farm here. And we just have to remember YoungBuck, he needs to continue extending his lead, because with a few items on the belt onto sOAZ, he will be stronger, and that is the issue for Copenhagen Wolves they need to remember. And of course, Cyanide, level 6, involved his ultimate here.
Big differences in AD carries build up here. Vampiric Scepter and Boots were picked up by Rekkles, but look at Forgiven. Full damage. Went for that long sword along with the BF sword. Could have got the boots, felt he didn't need them.
But he had gold enough when he actually recalled to just get full damage, as you just said. And Forgiven, he's one of the AD carries who never build any defensive items, or rarely does, because he just lost with full damage. And Unlimited needs to be careful here.
He was caught out, hadn't got flash available, but he knew that his jungler and AD carry were fairly close by. Cyanide's going to have to recall back to base, get himself a few items. Mid lane pairings there, both hitting level 7 now, and Amazing is paying yet another visit. Peke does have flashback available this time.
And he's also pinging out Amazing, so he knows where he is, and he instantly just backs off to the turret, taking no chance. Also because Cyanide had recalled to base, so he wouldn't be able to help him in case a fight should be breaking out.
Well, I mean, the bonus with Lulu is he can farm from a very long way out. YellOwStaR is coming around to see if he can.
He's
maybe
only
try and
level
throw
4.
something out. He is only level 4. He's been doing a lot of roaming. 4 levels below Peke and manages to actually pick up the bonus experience there alongside Peke, which puts him to 5.
Yeah, so look how Fnatic are playing with this bot lane. They know they can't move any close towards the Copenhagen Wolves one, so they're just staying. Rekkles just waiting for something to happen. That's why YellOwStaR could roam towards the mid lane, because as long as Caitlyn is keeping the way where he is now, Fnatic can't do anything to stop him farming.
Oh, YellOwStaR caught, but of course with that black shield quickly counters any damage being put out by cowTard. Hasn't got that burst available to him just yet. Rekkles helping out Cyanide. I'm not too sure if he wanted the help or not, but he's getting it nonetheless.
And what we actually saw this game early on in the bot lane is one of the reasons not everyone loves to play Morgana support, because as we talked about, in case a fight should be happening 2 versus 2, and he just does so much more damage than Morgana, so he was never able to do anything other than land the binding and wait for Rekkles to do something, and it simply meant all the pressure was on Copenhagen Wolves' side.
Limited making sure that Rekkles is zoned away from the experience here and zoned away from that gold. It is a big differential for Forgiven since he's been down this bottom lane, like you said, freezing that lane out. And look at it, 62 to 96. They're actually even in lane trades until that tower went down.
Yeah, but again, Rekkles now he can pick up a very big wave here, and Forgiven just staying around. He wants to push it all the way down to the turret so he can reset. That's why we actually see him staying, even though it's very dangerous because they don't have too much vision.
Well, Amazing's going to pass by a ward, so they know that he is heading in there. We do see the little poke going out there. They're keeping him pushed on towards that tower. Don't think they have intentions of trying to take this tower down. They're simply, as he said, resetting that wave, and Forgiven happy to step away from that one with a gigantic 30 CS lead.
And now Amazing is spotted by this ward. They didn't actually see it beforehand, so in case Fnatic wanted to fight, he would have been around helping out his lane. Of course, that's one of the reasons they stay and just push it all the way up. But they just continue to do damage here and going in.
Oh, they've got flash. Tibbers, Piltover comes across. The Ignite's running is not enough though. Unlimited, he's in trouble. Cyanide gets on towards him, takes the tower hit. Cyanide takes a chunk of damage. Quick black shield comes out of YellOwStaR and they step away, but the tower is still taking damage.
So very aggressive play by Unlimited, but the rest of Copenhagen Wolves were not ready to really follow it up. So YellOwStaR, he got out alive, and then Cyanide turned it around together with Rekkles. Got a kill here, but Copenhagen Wolves, they just stay and push.
They still keep pushing. They did see that Peke had gone up towards the top lane, had to quickly run straight back towards that mid lane. Fnatic do clear out the pressure, but they still got about half the hit points down on that middle turret, bottom turret, sorry.
And 2 early kills onto Cyanide here. Very good for him onto KhaZix. He's going to be very strong coming into the team fights. And I just have to highlight Cyanide once again, actually. He's been impressing me for a long time. He's been playing so well every single game for Fnatic. He's just been doing work.
Well, YoungBuck returns to the top. Got himself that Tiamat, got himself a Giant's Belt alongside him. Some fight games have been picked up by sOAZ, but YoungBuck is going to start being a bit of a tower pusher now. That's his job, and that's his plan, and that is what he's going to be doing as he stacks out those minis in the top. What are Fnatic going to do to try and counter this one? Dragon is up in 50 seconds, and you already see Copenhagen Wolves starting to ward out, starting to ward in towards Fnatic's jungle to get themselves some vision.
And as long as sOAZ can delay this top turret for dying, he can just constantly farm. And then he doesn't even care about YoungBuck being between the 2 turrets here farming, because as long as he picks up the farm he wants, he's going to get the items he needs, and then he's going to be the very strong Shyvana in the team fights.
Well, Fnatic getting in there, taking down 2 pink wards and getting themselves some good vision around that dragon, which means they almost certainly want to contest it. They've already spotted as well that YoungBuck, he went deep, he tried to farm between the 2 towers in that top lane and decided to go for a bit of a walk through the jungle.
Yeah, notice how sOAZ actually went straight down towards the dragon because he knew YoungBuck was rotating there, because of course it's spawning very, very soon. But he actually returned to the top lane, so Copenhagen Wolves are having all 5 members around this dragon. Let's see if Fnatic just want to give it up and actually see if sOAZ can take the top lane turret instead.
Well, YoungBuck took a lot of damage there. He's going to hold them off from that tower. Meanwhile, Ace in the hole being used on Cyanide, forcing him away. If he's going to jump in for this one instead, the stun comes out from Unlimited. Dragon goes across to the Wolves once again.
Yeah, very scary, and you don't really want to try and have a smite wall with Elise here, so wisely enough, he did not try and go for it. Meanwhile though, sOAZ up in the top lane, just hammering away on the turret. He won't be able to get it on the first wave, but if he can just get it with the next one, it's fine for Fnatic.
Well, there was a lot of damage on YoungBuck, but job done. He kept them away from the tower, and that's all he needed to do. As you mentioned, sOAZ has got himself a bunch of free farm in that top lane and put a lot of pressure on the tower. Bottom lane wave. Seems that Fnatic don't want to push on this one yet. We do see Forgiven, he's going to go down there and continue to get himself a big chunk of farm, and that's going to keep him well ahead of Rekkles.
Yeah, and look at this, he's already having the Bloodthirster onto Forgiven. Rekkles just went back, he couldn't even buy the Bloodthirster yet, so he's going to be very, very far behind actually when it comes to the next few minutes. Because we need to remember, of course, Forgiven, he can stack up the Bloodthirster, get the 30 additional AD, which is very good for him, and Rekkles, he's just going to be stuck with this BF sword for now.
No Master's Teeth was picked up by cowTard. Standard builds really from these two mid laners, along with the Athenes, of course, for xPeke. We'll see whether Cyanide decides to go tanky after this one. He has gone for the AD item, the Spirit, the Elder Lizard, in that jungle so far, so hasn't gone anything defensive just yet, as opposed to Amazing. You can see he has gone for that 200 hit point item, 350 health item.
That's Amazing again, or looking at the junglers, just as you talked about with Cyanide, we've seen a lot of different routes when it comes to builds here. We've seen the almost full damage KhaZix jungle, we've seen the very tanky ones. Cyanide here, if he decides to build tanky, he will be the front line together with sOAZ. Damage-wise for Fnatic's side, they're gonna lack something because they have this Lulu mid, and of course it's gonna be a lot about Rekkles. So I could actually see Cyanide go more damage-wise and then rely on the ultimate from xPeke to be the tanky.
See how it works out for them. In that bottom lane, Cyanide actually may well try and sneak around the backside of Forgiven. He's got no support with him at the moment, and he could try and sneak his way in there. You can see he's evolved his ultimate, so he will be able to stealth his way in. But the Dark Binding catches on cowTard. That takes half his hit points off, along with Lunge Glitter Lances. Yeah,
a lot of damage here, of course. YellOwStaR is maxing the Dark Binding, so it's gonna be a very long snare. I believe actually it's 3 seconds at rank 5. That's a lot of CC you're hitting onto the enemy here.
Copenhagen Wolves do go for a little invade. They take themselves the pink ward down. Hello. YellOwStaR caught at the side. They may go aggressive. They do. Flash Tibbers on this one. Straight away, Cocoon goes in. The Wild Growth reacts on this one. Cyanide leaps in. Is he going to get enough damage down? That's the question. He's trying to track Amazing. You do see YellOwStaR going down. The ultimate being used by cowTard, trying to turn that one back around the shield on Cyanide. The ultimate is just enough to counter all the damage coming out from the Wolves. A flash comes out. cowTard does not manage to land enough damage. And the culling comes out from Rekkles. Rekkles gets himself killed. sOAZ leaps in there towards the back. The Ignite running on cowTard should be enough. It is sOAZ that gets himself the kill on there, and Fnatic turn it around and get themselves 2 kills.
Absolutely beautiful ultimate from Rekkles, getting the kill onto Amazing, just turning around so he gets the last hit onto him, killing him, and then of course sOAZ coming in from the backside before YoungBuck actually could join the fight, getting the kill. He's now going very aggressive here.
sOAZ does not have that Dragon Descent available to him, whereas Dominus is up for YoungBuck along with that Ignite. So sOAZ realizing, hang on a minute, this is probably not a great idea, and backs away.
And the reason cowTard actually died was because he tried to flash in and get the last kill onto xPeke here, but it didn't work for him. He didn't have enough damage, so instead when he backed out, there was no flash, and sOAZ could just come in, hit him a few times, ignite him, and he was dead.
It is a pretty close game. Still just 200 gold for separating these two teams. It is a tower apiece, and actually it's the Wolves with the Dragons and having some great farm on their AD carry. Mid lane though, you can see xPeke starting to bully out that mid lane farm. He's got himself a nearly 40 CF differential over cowTard, and cowTard has got those 2 kills though. So pink ward's being cleared out, everything being swept, and we're back to position just before that aggression all began.
Yeah, but there's a lot of time till the dragon spawns, so they need to stay in these lanes for a little bit. You see both AD carries coming down to the bot lane. Rekkles, he's not trying to overextend or anything. He doesn't want to go and hit the turret because he knows there's a chance the rest of Copenhagen Wolves bot lane are going to come down here and catch him out. cowTard doing a lot of issues here in the mid lane.
xPeke going aggressive. He may well die on that one. One more Q, not going to be enough because he quickly uses the intervention. And that was needed because he would have popped.
Yeah, that's the reason you get the early affinity on Lulu, so you get enough cooldown reduction. You can activate your Q twice on one E onto the target. That's why also cowTard, he was just waiting and popped his ultimate when he knew the Q was ready again for xPeke.
He's got those 2 kills though. So pink ward's being cleared out, everything being swept, and we're back to position just before that aggression all began. So mid lane is being pushed in. Amazing and Unlimited will defend this one, no problem about that. Unlimited went for those boots of swiftness, boots of ability, sorry. Gonna be trying to dash himself around that jungle, see if he can try and make an impact. And you can tell because he's leaving Forgiven all on his own. He's constantly Forgiven. He's off farming, continuing to keep that advantage over Rekkles.
And he's going to have this reduced cooldown on Flash as well. And Unlimited, he's the one who always doing the engages for Copenhagen Wolves. That's why I like the way he's building it. Because as soon as he's having Flash tapers, they can start a fight. They can set something up. We've seen him do it twice already. Now sOAZ being caught out a little bit.
sOAZ in trouble. Blue buff on him, but you see Amazing catching on towards him. There's still not really enough damage. He has got that Dragon Descent and feeling confident in this one. Realizes the cowTard is coming around. He's going to try and juke them out there. Does manage to get away and flashes into the Baron pit. Nice escape, but the Baron is going to lay down some smack onto sOAZ, but it's not quite enough.
But very nice escape here, forcing 3 members from Copenhagen Wolves to go out towards the top lane. Dragon is spawning in 7 seconds, and YoungBuck, he's trying to run all the way down here, but Fnatic are in a good position to start it.
They should be able to take this Dragon down very quickly as well. They have the damage to do so, and you can see it drop it very, very quickly. Just coming around the side is the Copenhagen Wolves. YellOwStaR running interference, throwing out that Dark Binding, not really landed. The Wolves fancy this one, but look at the damage that one Glitter Lance just did from xPeke.
And look at the disengage. We talked about it in Champs League, how Morgana with the Black Shield and the Bindings, and of course Lulu. As soon as Fnatic took the Dragon, they just said, we don't want to fight, and instant disengage, landed the slow and just backed out.
And quick rotations from Fnatic. They realized their mid lane was in danger. sOAZ is back in there in defensive duties, and the rest of Fnatic comes straight up through that jungle and force the Copenhagen Wolves away.
And sOAZ here now, he's keeping even in farm. Yes, he did use the flash on his ultimate to escape before, but that was just fine because they got the Dragon from it, so it's perfect move by him. And he's doing so well in farm, and now he's actually playing very aggressive, very confident here, because he knows he's very, very tanky at this point.
Well, the problem is he's running interference because Fnatic, the rest of the team, are pushing that mid lane, and really he's just drawing them away while they buy time on towards his middle inner turret, outer turret. That's going to go down. Rekkles with one more shot, takes it down, and the red buff to sOAZ.
Yeah, great play once again. Just like you said, sOAZ actually forced multiple members from Copenhagen Wolves to stay around before they realized, oh, our mid turret is about to die, we have to rotate in there, but it was too late. So Fnatic doing a very good job on the map at the moment.
So, slight edge to Fnatic with that 1,000 gold. The Dragon they just picked up. Amazing going to be taking that race, no problem there. Bottom lane pairings. Let's have a look at these two. Rekkles has been playing catch-up for a long time on Forgiven and still is, honestly. He's, what, 40 CS behind. He has got a gigantic wave right now to push in there, and they are building slightly different, as you would expect with a Lucian versus a Caitlyn.
But as long as xPeke can stand in this mid lane and wave clear, Rekkles can always come down in bot lane, get a lot of farm. He's been getting a lot now where Forgiven recalled to base and now have to go down towards the mid lane. And Copenhagen Wolves, they can now go 4 members to the mid lane, try and set something up and have YoungBuck who can still hold at least 1v1 against sOAZ. But look at this, sOAZ position up here. YoungBuck has no idea he's there. Luke is coming in, Cyanide here from the bottom.
Sneaking around, and there he is, stealths his way in. The damage onto YoungBuck. Dominus is popped, but I just don't think it's enough to escape. He gets a slice and dice, but you can see he's quickly caught out. The flash comes out, but he's just going to be fodder for sOAZ.
Absolutely beautiful gang setup here. sOAZ, he waited up in the bush here. YoungBuck had absolutely no idea what was about to happen. Even used the flash because he tried to run down to his team, but it was just too far away and he died. Now Copenhagen Wolves pushing on to mid lane, going on xPeke.
They're going heavy on xPeke, and they just drop him where he stands. That was a quick lockup and a kill. Can they get the turret down? They should have enough here with cowTard and Forgiven hammering it down.
And that's why I love Unlimited on Annie, or on something where you can engage, just instantly popping the tippers. Doesn't even think.
Well, Rekkles pushed that bottom wave and it put a hell of a lot of minions on towards that turret. I don't think it's quite going to be enough, or will it? No, Forgiven should get down there just about in time. You can see the hit points, the minions are clearing it out there, but that's going to be yet another big chunk of farm for Forgiven.
So this game, every time something happens in the top lane or in the bot lane, we have something else happening in the mid lane, just the other team responding. That's why they're so even in gold, and it's been a very even early game with actually quite some action, and I really enjoyed.
Yeah, 22 minutes gone. 4 towers down and 8 kills to the good so far, but there is lots of action to go because these teams have yet to really penetrate anywhere in each other's jungle or in each other's inner turrets. They are all untouched as of yet. xPeke on Lulu, yet to really get going. You can see he's got some great farm, but he's at 0-2-1. cowTard has started to get those kills, and we know that Kayle's, if they get free time on a turret, will do a lot of damage.
Yeah, just general Kayle going into the late game is such a monster. She scales so well with everything, and of course her ultimate at rank 3 with the low cooldown. It's very hard to deal with because you have the first team fight, you pop the ultimate, and then if you disengage, it's going to be ready again for next time you go in, and it's so annoying late game with this Kayle. And of course, as you talked about, with the Lich Bane, with the high amount of AP, your tower damage is insane.
And with that mid turret down, we now see cowTard has rotated lanes. He's now the split push out for the Copenhagen Wolves, trying to push that top lane in. So as his running defensive duties though, has got just about enough to keep him away. Still no damaging items going full tank. So he is going to be the man that's going to be going in first for Fnatic.
Yeah, sOAZ is going to be in the face of Copenhagen Wolves every single time, and he knows that when Cyanide goes in with him, Cyanide wants to kite around with his ultimate, so that's why sOAZ needs to be able to just stay in the face of Copenhagen Wolves all the time. And wow, look at this. 3 members from Fnatic in the bot lane, and Copenhagen Wolves with the pink ward starting the Baron.
No idea that this is happening. They may well give up an inner turret for it. You can see the bottom pairing of cowTard trying to rotate around, trying to stop this one, but this is going to be a Baron for Copenhagen Wolves. Fnatic, no idea about it. They do get themselves that inner turret. Is it worth it?
Definitely not worth it here. Very nice move by Copenhagen Wolves, but let's see sOAZ up here. He shouldn't be able to get this one because now Copenhagen Wolves can close in on him.
They're giving a YoungBuck moving in towards this one. They are going to get the damage. He takes a tower hit as well. The trap does go down, not quite enough. Dragon's Descent does give him a speed boost. He's going to be able to get that Burning Agony to try and run away from this one. YoungBuck gives up on it. sOAZ does manage to escape. The rest of Fnatic, they're rotating around. They're pushing in the mid turret. Can they get the inner down?
So Fnatic, they only got 1 turret, and then Copenhagen Wolves took the Baron here. So very nice move as soon as they saw the members down here in the bot lane pushing up. So now let's see here. Copenhagen Wolves with the Baron buff. Can they actually group up as a team and start being aggressive?
Well, to make this Baron worthwhile, giving up that turret, they have to try and take some turrets of their own. You can see them all pushing in this mid lane. Ace in the hole being used on YellOwStaR, forcing him to stop recalling, and now they're going to push down. 20 seconds on that Dragon. It seems to be the next focus for the Wolves.
And look at sOAZ here. He's pinging the top lane turret, so they definitely don't want to fight this Dragon for Fnatic's side. They just want sOAZ to try and get it, and that's why he's rushing there, pushing the lane out, and you see YoungBuck instantly, he's like, whoa, our top lane. He can actually go down here, and that's why he's returning back to the mid lane and will try and go up top.
Yeah, gets slowed by KPeke, not going to be able to do it. Cyanide also moving in towards this one, so second in the turret, almost certainly the focus target for Cyanide and sOAZ. The rest of Copenhagen Wolves, they try and rotate, they try and force KPeke away from this one, but 3 members of Fnatic are now in that jungle. Again, taking that red buff, they're pushing on the turret, they're going to get it.
And they get the turret and the red buff against the team with Baron. So Fnatic are just playing Copenhagen Wolves around the map here. Yes, they might be able to pick up this Dragon, but they still look up in this top lane. Still, members from Fnatic pushing on.
Look at the mid lane. KPeke's in there. He's pushing on towards that inner turret. And would you believe it? The Fnatic, despite the fact there's a Baron for Wolves, are just chasing around this map here. And they are going to move in 4 members, 5 members, all on towards this inner turret. The Copenhagen Wolves are floundering. They're not too sure what the hell is happening. They've just lost 3 inner turrets against the team with Baron.
And Forgiven was just standing in the bot lane. He walked down there instead of helping with the Dragon, instead of helping defend. He just went bot lane, decided to recall when they already lost the mid turret. So Fnatic just outplaying Copenhagen Wolves at the moment on the map.
The Wolves going to try and push through that mid lane. Fnatic are off at the side, so they may have to give up the 1 inner turret. They certainly don't want to give up the inhibitor turret, though. The rest of the Wolves are catching up. They are going to get around there, but Rekkles, he has the culling, and he can just wipe out that minion wave if he needs to.
And actually, the minion wave is coming behind them. It wasn't even close by, so they just pushed up there, no minion wave, but with the one coming in here, Fnatic is in a position to defend. Let's see if they can actually wave clear, or if Copenhagen Wolves want to be very aggressive and try to dive.
I think with that Baron being a simple opportunistic moment, I don't think they're going to dive it. I don't think they've got enough. They know that Lucian is not there, though. Rekkles down that bottom lane, so they are on a 4v5 advantage at the moment.
Fnatic just needs to hold up here. They don't have to fight if they can just delay till the Baron buff is gone. Even if they can actually see the Baron when it disappears, they can time it with 3 minutes from there. So it'll be very good for them to get the timer.
Good damage on Forgiven there. Dark Binding just missing out though. Had to use that 90 caliber net to bash away. They do have to get the minions down. They go on KPeke. They just burst him straight down. Cyanide jumps in, but he takes a lot of that damage. sOAZ using that Dragon Descent to escape. They do manage to get YoungBuck down. YellOwStaR pays the price. It is going to be Cyanide getting caught out there. They do get themselves a turret, but it was a risky play. It was a 2-for-1 in the end.
So Copenhagen Wolves, they felt confident diving this one, and once again, it is unlimited on Annie. He starts the fight, land the tables, instantly just blow up xPeke.
Top wave though has a giant push on towards that inhibitor turret. Copenhagen Wolves, they will be able to take that one down. Amazing has just respawned to go up there. Red buff will be given across to Forgiven, but I gotta be honest, I think Fnatic have certainly got the edge over Wolves in that Baron.
But look at this here with the Baron buff. Copenhagen Wolves are just saying we can actually dive this one. The Black Shield is gone. That's why Unlimited can go in onto xPeke, who overextends, instantly blows him up. Once again, Unlimited with the engage. Then they continue chasing here. sOAZ have to back out. And Cyanide almost jumping out, but then the Q from Amazing is getting the kill here, so they get the turret and 2 kills. And all due to the fact that Black Shield was gone, he just instantly said, we can go on this.
The moment it was taken down, Tibbers was pulled out the closet. So, Fnatic, they have themselves a 6-3 turret advantage. Of course, that top turret still untouched. sOAZ is guarding that one every step of the way. We'll take out that ping ward, not that it's much use. It gives them slight little bit of vision. In this mid lane, we see and hear a very loud carving of cowTard taking down those minions.
So we have now, xPeke has been pushing down the bot lane. He's going to go all the way up. You actually see Fnatic even pinging it. This simply means they can group up now and start pushing up the mid lane and then force Copenhagen Wolves to send multiple members to different lanes here. But it seems though Copenhagen Wolves, they're just going to rotate Elise. So now they actually see the Fnatic group in the mid lane, so they're going to try and return back here. But will they try and fight? Look at Unlimited. He's coming in from behind.
They keep getting drawn towards sOAZ.
sOAZ
This
back
time
in the
around,
top.
they may get enough. Amazing comes around. He's got to land a cocoon. And then Tibbers does go down. They catch on towards it. It's xPeke. YellOwStaR takes the ace in the hole. They all jump away from this one. It's a good culling. It takes down Tibbers. YoungBuck's going to try and get around there. The rest of his team desperately trying to catch up. But the disengage from Fnatic is so good, slowing the entire team down. They may try and counter it.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic disengage from Fnatic, using the Lulu, using the Morgana to say we actually being caught out of position here. Instantly backs off, even with the Tibbers from Unlimited, nobody died.
And that bottom wave has a giant stack again. Every time this happens, Fnatic have pushed a wave, and that inhibitor turret is taking damage from those minions. It won't be enough to take it down, but it's certainly a hell of a lot of minions that are losing, and Copenhagen Wolves not going to get them. Dragon, up in 2 minutes. Baron, up in a minute. Well, we'll see who gets them.
3 members from Copenhagen Wolves up in this top lane. Again, they decide to recall because they see Fnatic just pushing up the mid lane. And Cyanide trying to jump here on to Kayle.
Just uses that ultimate, tries to catch cowTard out of position. Fnatic really are running rings around the Wolves right now. Cyanide's ultimate will be used. It is going to be on cooldown, but YoungBuck is slightly out of position here. Maybe going to try a pincer on towards Fnatic. They do see sOAZ in the bush. YoungBuck steps out, but 4 members of Fnatic are all there. Now he's going to try and tank this one through. Dominus is up. sOAZ is getting picked off as well. The rest of the Wolves do manage to rotate around, but again, they can't catch the Fnatic out, and they don't really have the vision to chase.
But credit to Copenhagen Wolves for constantly trying to set up these fights. First in the mid lane when sOAZ was up top, and now here with YoungBuck waiting behind here, just trying to land a stun onto someone from Fnatic, starting the fight, but every single time it's the same story. They can disengage, and Copenhagen Wolves, they just seem to always be on the back foot.
sOAZ refuses to let that top turret go down. Straight away returns back up there, wipes himself yet another wave out, and now he's actually built himself a 50 CS advantage over YoungBuck, because YoungBuck's simply been chasing around the map while he continues to keep on pushing that top wave in. The bottom wave, that's being pushed in by Fnatic as well. We do see, of course, Baron is now up, and ward control, well, it's in the advantage of Fnatic so far, but I think the Wolves are going to try and take that away from them.
Yeah, just clearing this ping board here is very important for Unlimited, and then they have actually some good wards around in this jungle. It is a bit deeper in, so they can see Fnatic if they decide to camp in the jungle. They won't be using the vision in there to actually prevent the Baron from happening. But the rest of the team is here. Only cowTard is in the top lane pushing. So both teams are aware the Baron is of course up, and both teams, they want to get it.
A little bit of poke from Cyanide, a little bit of poke from Rekkles, keeping Unlimited away from those wards, and Fnatic this time have themselves vision of it. They're not going to get caught out this time around. Unlimited does get himself caught by that Dark Binding. Despite the fact they don't have vision, the fact that he's got that spell piece, of course, will give him the gold tick, so he knows he's just got someone.
And let's see here for Copenhagen Wolves. They are standing 5 together. Same goes for Fnatic actually, except for xPeke now. He wants to push out this bot lane again. We've seen it time and time. They push it out, and then they go back as a group and force Copenhagen Wolves to fight.
And of course, xPeke with that Lulu, with the ability power, he will have the movement speed to just charge
yeah,
up
he's
that
very fast.
river if he needs to. Amazing, soloing out the Dragon, while the rest of the Wolves keep Fnatic busy just off the edge.
It's a very good movement here by Amazing, getting the Dragon, and of course late game gives more and more gold. And Copenhagen Wolves have been doing a fantastic job getting objectives, 4 Dragons and 1 Baron, and only 1 Dragon onto the side of Fnatic.
So top and bottom wave are going to push in favor of Fnatic. This mid wave we can see Copenhagen Wolves are sitting around. YellOwStaR looking to try to catch something out. To flash Tibbers into 4-man Tibbers from Unlimited, but the rest of the team weren't quite quick enough to react to that one. YoungBuck goes aggressive. YellOwStaR goes down. His ultimate was running. Cyanide now trying to jump on towards Forgiven, but he's just being tanked out. Have they got enough? YoungBuck goes down. cowTard gets focused. Intervention's not available, and he goes down into triple kill for Rekkles. It may well be a quadra. It is. Can they catch on towards Amazing run? He's not having any of it.
But look at the power of KhaZix in this team, but how annoying is xPeke? He wants to get Amazing down while the rest of Fnatic are pushing towards the inhibitor.
He's got the speed to catch on towards him, he's got the damage, and Amazing's going to try and skitter away from this one. Where are you going to repel to? Blue buff. Peke will take that one for free, and he'll get the blue buff. The rest of the team, they're shoving on the inhib.
So Fnatic here with a very nice team fight. Once again, we saw Unlimited with the engage. But then we also saw again power of Cyanide. If we get the replay here, notice how much time he's actually buying his own backline to kill the rest of Copenhagen Wolves, and then they can come in and join when Cyanide actually survives. And now Fnatic starting the Baron, and of course Copenhagen Wolves not in a position to stop it.
Yeah, Rekkles just dashes across. 3 members there, 4 members will be joining them as sOAZ comes across. He can jump in. Let's check out this replay. This is the big fight.
Yeah, so it is engaged from Unlimited onto 3 members from Fnatic here, and then notice Cyanide, our source, jumping to the backline, and then Cyanide doing the same thing. Down here in the bottom, we have Peke and Rekkles staying together, very nice, just kiting backwards. And then notice Cyanide here with his ultimate, how much damage he's actually tanking out. 2 members, 3 members actually, 4 members of Copenhagen Wolves hitting him, trying to kill him, but he's stealthed off, pops then his Randuins, and then the rest of the Fnatic here can now join in when they've killed the front line and just take kill after kill. And of course, Rekkles, he wanted the penta, but Amazing just backed away.
And that whole fight, Rekkles was just off the side, untouched, free damage, and the culling actually landing his entire combo on towards the Wolves. We do see the blue buff being picked up by cowTard. Of course, Baron buff was completed by Fnatic just while that replay was shown.
And this fight just showed that the front line of Fnatic is harder to kill for the backline of Copenhagen Wolves than the other way around. That's why they had the advantage here, because you saw both of them fighting the same way. They wanted to kill sOAZ, they wanted to kill Cyanide. Meanwhile, we had YoungBuck and Amazing trying to dive onto the backline of Fnatic, but they just didn't have the damage to take them down.
Well, that pesky sOAZ is back in the top lane and pushing them waves back in. Somebody's going to have to go and deal with him while the rest of Fnatic push out the middle and bottom lanes. We do see Peke, he's just shoved out that wave. cowTard is going to keep that one at bay. Cyanide and Peke moving as a terrible team. It used to be the likes of Peke and sOAZ. They were the killer team, but now Peke has got himself a new buddy in the form of Cyanide. And of course, with this exposed inhibitor, a 5-man Baron are just going to push it.
Yeah, Fnatic are just going to group up here. They want to fight for this one. If Copenhagen Wolves decide to engage, then they are ready. There's no flash onto Annie yet, so the engage for Copenhagen Wolves have to come from the likes of Cocoon or YoungBuck jumping in.
You quickly see the speed on Rekkles there. Of course, as soon as he gets that little buff on him from Peke, he can just zap away. He keeps on getting that damage down. Black Shield goes on towards him. The moment he sees Amazing or Unlimited trying to step towards him, sOAZ tanks out all the damage. The culling comes out. That inhibitor is going down. Will Fnatic keep pushing? The top and bottom waves are available.
Look at this, with the double shields onto Rekkles when he went towards the inhibitor. It is so much extra help from Lulu here. Look, it's so hard to take him down. There's also the ultimate, so if Copenhagen Wolves want to engage, they need to go when the Black Shield is down.
YoungBuck really isn't tanky enough anymore to try and engage on this one. He's going to have to use that Dominus simply to survive at the moment, and the rest of Fnatic keep on poking. Flash Tibbers is available if Unlimited wants to use it. You can see he's holding that stun, but he's going to have to catch an Amazing ultimate if he gets on towards them.
Yeah, the Black Shield again is ready for YellOwStaR. He also having the mid-kill in case Annie hits a key target. He can then cleanse the target and make sure they don't get locked up, and they can actually back out of the fight then. And look at Rekkles. Just double shield every time, gets a few hits onto the turret. Very hard for Copenhagen Wolves to actually deal with this.
Minions continuing to push through that mid lane. Super Minions will be there in a few moments. The culling coming out once again. This time again, it is catching Amazing out, forcing him away. Yet more damage. Rekkles is going to step close. Whoa! Big burst of damage. That proves the danger that Fnatic have. They're going to back away from this one.
So Fnatic have to back up here. The ace in the hole from Forgiven did a lot of damage. cowTard actually chasing on here. YellOwStaR have to flash. Copenhagen Wolves, they want to fight.
They may try and turn it, and they do. You can see sOAZ going in there on towards Unlimited. The quick wild growth being popped on towards him. We see cowTard being picked off. Cyanide gets away with that ultimate. He does finally go down to the ignite, but it doesn't matter. YoungBuck's been taken down. Unlimited's got next to no health. Forgiven's been dropped out. They're going to continue chasing. It's another triple kill being picked up by Rekkles. Can he get the quadra? The repel comes in. Amazing trying to draw them away from the inhibitor. Not going to happen. Peke picks him off. gets the inhibitor down. Super minions are in the base. Fnatic are gonna push for the win.
And again, Copenhagen Wolves had 4 members trying to kill the front line of Fnatic. They only got Cyanide, and now Unlimited, he will die, and Fnatic doing so well.
It's another kill for KhaZix and another win for Fnatic. They go 2-0 this week. It has been a great turnaround, and well, the Intelligent Master seems to have given a boost of confidence to Fnatic because they've taken down Copenhagen Wolves with ease.